Is is this thing on? Okay, I think it's working. It's working. Hey everybody! I'm Bradley Morris and this is
Soren!
and we're from Majik Kids.
Yeah!
Welcome to the big Unify Peace event. We are here to help raise the spiritometer on planet Earth with some magical stories, right?
Yeah!
So we have two amazing magical audio stories, but before, we look like cartoon characters, sort of things. I agree. We're kind of like cartoon characters because
Yeah!
you're watching us inside of a screen. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and it looks a bit like we are cartoon characters.
Oh my gosh, there's a gnome behind your shoulder.
Huh?
So, before we get to the two stories that you're going to get to listen to, we have a special announcement to make. So, who Majik Kids is, we create magical audio stories, illustrated books, guided meditations for kids, and we do classroom and home learning activities as well to help the kids integrate the magical lessons and themes from the stories that we create. We work with many, many, many artists of all types. Where'd my assistant go? Oh, there you are. No, get back here. And we are the first ever fair trade publishing company, meaning 50% of our revenue goes back to our artists so that we can help those artists make their living creating powerful, magical, inspiring art for the kids. So the two stories that we have for you today, number one is called Our Beautiful Predicament. This is a story we created that is, it's all about the times we're living in, because we're living in wild times that also have incredible opportunity to create an entirely new world for all of us to enjoy together. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
And this story, Our Beautiful Predicament, was narrated by, who narrated it, Soren? A whole bunch of kids. A whole bunch of kids with a beautiful message for all of you to enjoy. And then the second story is called The Planet of Kalapaloo.
Yeah!
And The Planet of Kalapaloo is an incredible story of unity. And it's a very, very silly story about the red and the blue Paloos who don't really like each other too much. And what do we do in a world where there is conflict between two opposing groups of people, or in this case, Paloos, the reds and the blues? In this story, you are going to love the hilarity, the silliness, and the message that comes through in how they come to resolve and unify as one group of Paloos. So we really hope you love our Majik Kids stories. If you do, we have many, many more Majik Kids stories, audio stories, illustrated books, home learning activities over at majikkids.com. Go check it out, MAJIK kids.com. And the best way to enjoy the audio stories is to keep your kids' hands busy. So get them some coloring supplies right now, or some Play-Doh, some blocks, something that they can make things with while they go into their imagination and listen, because we bring all the fun of story time without the screen time at Majik Kids. So get into that imagination and enjoy the stories. See you later.
Bye! Goodbye.
Hello, everybody. I am Debbie G, and I hope you're ready for some magical information about Majik Kids and the wonderful guest I have here, Mr. Bradley Morris. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
It is so wonderful to have you here, and you are going to get to hear those stories. Just be patient. But first, we thought it would be really exciting to have you here, Bradley, and to answer some questions about these stories and really take a little bit of a deeper dive into how that Majik Kids was created. I personally, for one, am super excited. And those of you that are watching right now, be prepared to feel the magic come alive with you in your life. I promise you. So, Bradley, thank you. Welcome. And let's get going. I'm going to play musical screens and bring you just a little bit bigger. All right. Spotlight's on you.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Wow. So how it got started. So my son Soren, he's 6 now. And as a family, we saw the impact screens had on him at a very young age. Like his inability to regulate himself, the emotional outbursts when we would try to shut a show back when he was, 2 and 3 years old. And it was just very clear to us that shows and screen time were not healthy for a young child. And I mean, there's plenty of scientific research that goes to back this up. So we really believe as a family that stories are incredibly important for every single human on planet Earth, and specifically for kids, so that kids can make sense of themselves, the world, and so that they can learn and grow and use their imaginations. And so Soren grew up with audio stories instead of screen time, for the most part. And so with the world of audio stories, and him and I always making up stories, we were finding that a lot of the audios he was listening to, my main company is called Majik Media, and we've been in the production space for a lot of years, using entertainment as a vehicle to teach and transform online. And Soren and I were always writing stories and making up stories on the spot, and some of those stories kept getting retold. And so eventually, I wrote them down and we fleshed them out. And um, the audio stories he was listening to, they were either poorly produced, or the messages and values didn't align with our own values that we hold near and dear. And we felt like there was a space missing in the children's entertainment world, specifically in the audio space. And so we this is our accidental publishing company. So it's been really fun for me, as an artist, as a writer. The part of what makes Majik Kids magical is we're the first ever fair trade publishing company. So in our first 15 audio stories and illustrated books, we've worked with probably about 50 artists, between the voice actors, the musicians that score the music and sound effects. We have over a dozen illustrators we've partnered with so far. We have multiple authors we've worked with on some of the different stories. We have 3 different producers. Like there's been so many individual, incredibly talented artists that are contributing their gifts for the benefit of kids. And that's a part of what makes what we're doing so magical. The audio stories, we wanted to, when creating these stories, we wanted to make them so that they're more exciting for a kid than watching Paw Patrol or a Disney movie, because they activate the kids' imaginations. They've got all sorts of different characters that do the voices for the characters in the stories. We've got amazing scoring and sound effects for the audio. And with our son Soren, what we've always done is we just put something down in front of him before we start the audio story. So we'll give him some blocks, some crafts, coloring supplies, Lego. He has something to do with his hands while he listens, and he is fully engaged in the activity he's doing while his imagination expands and he envisions these worlds. And it's absolutely amazing. Like there's been so many times where it doesn't appear as though he's listening because he's so engaged in what he's coloring or building. And then we stop the story when it's done and we ask him what he learned and what was the story about and who are the characters, what was your favorite part, and he can recall everything. It's like he's fully aware while he's building these worlds. And then he comes up to us when he's done and he's like, look what I made. And he's got all of these creations. I feel like, every person needs a nervous system reboot every single day, whether it's meditation, whether it's playing a sport, an activity. And a lot of parents, we're busy and we all need a little bit of space away from our kids. And in our modern world, most of us live in silos where we don't have a village that's surrounding us. And so we say, hey, kid, go sit on the screen so that I can cook some dinner or wash some dishes or just have a peace out for a minute. And there's a big difference between what happens for a child when they're watching a screen. I mean, it's like a trough with all of the information that's coming. And with modern shows that take place, the frames are switching every second. And so it literally puts kids into a trance state. I mean, I've seen Soren where he's like, are you even breathing right now? He literally glazed over like a zombie.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas the audio, he's just as engaged. He's even happier. We don't go through the withdrawal symptoms like an addict when we shut the screen at the end of the audio story. And it's a totally different experience where he's fully engaged in reality. And he still gets that opportunity to go inside of himself, to decompress at the end of a day, to have that space to be in his imagination and to also be with himself. And it's just, there's been so many unexpected parts of building this that are all starting to make sense as we create more and more stories, and also working with different educators. So yeah, it's been a very unexpected and magical journey so far.
I am loving this. And for everybody that is watching, you can also find the links right there in the chat and up in the description above. So, okay, I am completely excited about what you do because I have a granddaughter that's 9. And to me, tapping into our imagination is the one thing that we forget as adults. And so I love that you're bringing this back. I'm ready for your adult Majik Kids, quite frankly, because, we'll get some coloring books and stuff and I'll get some blocks. I'm perfectly happy to be your guinea pig and I'll try it out. Let's do that. So I want to talk about our beautiful predicament that Unify is sponsoring. And the reason I want to talk about it is that I have a clip that's really special and I want to play it just momentarily. But first, give us some idea of what our beautiful predicament is going to be about.
I mean, it's the story for our times. It is about the beautiful predicament we find ourselves in as humanity right now. We have a lot of challenges that we're facing. And this is either an opportunity to come together or to let us be divided. And the story is narrated by all children from the island I live on, Salt Spring Island. And it's a message from the kids to all of us grown-ups on what we can do given the circumstances we find ourselves in right now.
Oh, that's beautiful. So everybody, I'm going to play a little snippet. And then we're also going to talk about the next upcoming story that you will be listening to. So without further ado, let's listen. Get your coloring books. Go ahead. I'll just wait a second. Your crayons too. I like pink, just saying.
Or blocks, Lego, whatever you got.
Lego blocks.
Play-Doh.
Yeah,
Play-Doh's great too.
Play-Doh's good. I love Play-Doh. Play-Doh's wonderful. You have some clay? Just do that.
You're beautiful. You're perfect and oh so pure. You're our mother and we love you. We're grateful to be here. We honor you and we respect you for all that you give. Without you, we'd have no place to live.
We're sorry we hurt you, for we were asleep at the time. We're finally awake now, and see you are divine.
We were silly to think that you are something to own. But you are alive. You are on a planet. You're the place we call home.
We're your children. You're our mother. And it's time to play fair. There's plenty for everyone. If we just learn to share.
There's no need to hurt or fight one another. Every person's my sibling, sister or brother.
We didn't mean to disrespect you with toxins and pollutions, but we're working together and we have tons of solutions. We've learned our lessons from the contrast we see. We raise the white flag so world peace comes to be. What a beautiful predicament we've got ourselves in. With all that we face,
this is our best place to begin.
As human beings, it's time we own our power.
It's not 11 o'clock. This is the first hour.
It's funny, don't you think, that love is the solution.
To end all wars, poverty, and pollution.
We've been given this great chance to all come together so that future generations.
And we are, at the very end, just cut off, but that's okay because we're going to be playing it again here in just a little while. Bradley, I am so excited for the message that this brings. The message of humanity, the message of unity, love, peace, kindness. Children are amazing teachers for us. It reminds me of the 100th monkey. All of the children were washing their yams and the scientists are all studying this, and they notice that suddenly the parents start doing this, and then the grandparents and the aunts and the uncles. And it's safe to consider that we're here to learn from our children. And I appreciate what you have brought forward from your experience with your son, because it's extraordinary and it's beautiful. So I'd love to know also a little bit about the next recording that we're going to be playing.
Yeah. So on the recording we just had, I think I accidentally sent you the wrong file because that one was missing the music that goes with it. So I'll make sure to update that, or people can listen to the real one on the website. But this next story is called The Planet of Kalapaloo. And The Planet of Kalapaloo was written by a dear friend of mine, Albert Strasser. He's written a bunch of stories at Majik Kids. This is all rhyming. The actual story itself is a feat in itself. So it's about the red and the blue Paloos. Sound familiar, anybody? And they don't like each other for some reason on the planet Kalapaloo. And they haven't liked each other for so long that nobody remembers why they don't like each other. And so there's tension that arises on the planet of Kalapaloo, and it leads to a great kerfuffle. And in the midst of this kerfuffle, some children stop the grown-ups from this tomfoolery, and they help to prevent something incredibly disastrous from happening. And in the process of doing this, the leaders accidentally push a big button that blows up 12 of the 24 moons. And that causes an incredible series of events that take place that help them to realize the unity that is actually what makes them all the same. So I won't share much more because the story itself is hilarious and so much more fun than the way I could describe it.
I absolutely love it. So you're going to be watching that shortly. You know, Bradley, it's not that often that we get to experience magic happening as it takes place. And I do believe that that's what you're bringing. I absolutely appreciate you beyond measure for, I am thanking you for all parents and grandparents and soon to be parents and children out there, because what you've brought forward is a new way to express ourselves as human beings, and also bringing in the most valuable part. And that is that we are truly all one. It's incredible.
Thank you. I mean, it's, as a longtime creator, writer, producer, media maker, all the things, there's been no greater satisfaction and joy than to have a vehicle to collaborate with so many talented people. And I guess I'll mention the piece about Majik Kids is the first ever fair trade publishing company. So we pay 50% back to our artists so that the artists can get paid. Because if you listen to your podcast on Spotify, I can guarantee you those artists are not getting paid much by Spotify. Pennies, no. If anything. Right now we're building the Majik Kids app, which will be live by the end of the year, hopefully. And the Majik Kids app will be a fair trade publishing app. We'll be launching new audio stories every Saturday morning to replace Saturday morning cartoons. We'll have new meditations coming out every 2 weeks. And we'll have musical sing-alongs coming out. We'll launch a new album every 3 months. And so with that, the subscription money that families and educators will be paying will be divided up, and 50% will be going to all of our artists, the voice actors, the musicians, the authors, the illustrators, the producers, etc., so that all of those artists can hopefully make enough money to put all of their focus into bringing their greatest gifts forward in devotion to the children. And that's the goal. I mean, if we can bring artists together, world-class artists, to tell stories, to create inspiring music, and everybody can be paid well enough that we can just keep doing that, then everybody's going to win.
I love that, because it's a win-win-win all the way around, from the consumer, from you to the consumer to the artist. I mean, all of it. Everybody wins. And I think that is extremely exciting. How about you guys watching? Isn't this just one of the most just coolest things in the world? Seriously, I love this. I'm just all about it. I love the stories. And when you sit and listen, they're just so alive and booming with imagination and color. And I'm so glad you're loving it all. I can see these comments. Thank you very much. We love that. So make sure, I love that you're so into all of this. I think that is fantastic. So there's the link one more time. So you want to make sure and go grab yourselves a copy of whatever is speaking to you today. And then stay tuned, because we have actually the full story coming up for you. So thank you so much, Bradley, for being here. I am just, I'm so grateful It's just the only word to describe it. And so is the audience from what I'm reading in the reaction. So it's kind of cool.
I'm absolutely delighted. And I know there's probably a lot of homeschooling parents out there, parents that are feeling disappointed in the education their kids are getting and the lack of life skills your kids are learning, and possibly looking for more meaningful ways to facilitate adventure and activities with your kids. So for all of you, if you go to majikkids.com and then go to our Majik Kids Club page, we have a subscription, and this is like beta 1.0 for what the app is going to offer. But this is a space for educators, parents, homeschoolers, etc. And every single audio story and book that we release an activity book and a coloring book that goes with it, which you get access to in the Majik Kids Club. And those activities, there's 10 to 12 for every story. They're conversation starters. I mean, I absolutely love the experience of listening to the audio stories or reading the books to Soren, and then going through the conversation starters and having these incredible conversations to understand how he's perceiving the worlds that we've created together and the characters and their journeys and their transformations. We also in the activity books, we have different crafts that you can do for each story. There's guided adventures, there's nature connection, there's art projects. There's so many different things for every single story. Like literally, you could listen to a story and spend the rest of the week doing the guided activities as a part of a classroom or a homeschooling project. And that is for every single story we release. And then we also, inside the Majik Kids Club, we upload all of our kids' meditations. Now, the kids' meditations aren't like the guided meditations you might listen to on Insight Timer. They're imaginative, they're playful, they're using story and game as a way to teach kids how to connect to their breath, how to balance their nervous system, how to calm themselves, how to envision new worlds, how to harness the power of their thoughts when they're experiencing their day-to-day life. So there's a bunch of meditations. We'll be doing more. And for all of you artists out there, for all of you meditation guides out there, for all of you musicians out there, I know there's so many of you. Get in contact with us. Go to the contact page on our website. We're literally building a massive network of artists so that as we release new stories, as we call out for more story submissions, which you can see at the bottom of our website, there's an Illustrate page. We're about to put up a voice acting page and a music page so people can start submitting their art, so that when we launch the app next in December, January, you are ready to go. We are ready to go. And together we can go forward and share all this magic with the kids.
Woo! I'm so excited about that. Get it. Woo! I love this. So y'all heard it. Go to the contact us. And if you are interested in being part of this creational process, I just said a word that's not even a word. What the heck?
It's word now.
It's creational. It's a word. It's a word.
Word now.
Oh, word now. I know what book I want. I want Lovitude. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Beautiful. And I just want to honor unify.org, the official sponsor of our beautiful predicament. Unify is in the book. There's a message in the back of the book from unify.org. Unify is at the beginning and the end of the story as our official story sponsor. So thank you, Unify, for this collaboration and mutual support of the mission that we're all here to serve.
Absolutely. And speaking of Unify, do not miss all the festivities. There are so many things going on. Go to unify.org/peace. Make sure that if you're even just meditating from home, that you put your name in on the map. The map is live and active. We have thousands of people, millions of people all over the world that are actively meditating and joining in this movement for peace on earth. And I believe peace is possible. And in fact, I declare world peace. Hashtag. Or is it hashtag I declare world peace? I don't remember which way it goes.
Hashtag I declare world peace. I mean,
there you go.
Now.
Ready,
set, go.
Bye, everybody. We love you. Ready, set, go.
Thanks.
Yeah, world peace. Yeah, it's happening.
Done. Now what?